their unethical, corrupt dealings, which was worth $60 million. He dismissed everything.
Is there some corruption that could have happened?
Forget red carpets and champagne toast. Blake Lively's carefully staged victory lap just exploded, detonated by the one person she thought was her ultimate shield, her own husband, Ryan Reynolds. This isn't Hollywood gossip. It's a nuclear-level betrayal exposing a web of lies, judicial shadows, and careers crumbling in real time. What seemed like a legal win was merely the prelude to an epic downfall. Strap in, because the truth behind the scandal is darker than any tabloid headline. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button right now. This story unravels by the minute, and you won't want to miss what drops next. Just days ago, Blake Lively floated down a Tribeca red carpet like she'd won an Oscar for Best Victim. Headlines screamed she was vindicated.
Why?
Because a New York judge, Louis J. Lyman, tossed out Justin Baldwin's massive $400 million countersuit against her. Baldwin's claims of extortion and defamation? Dismissed as nonsense. Blake seized the moment, flooding Instagram with posts about standing with 19 organizations, framing it as a triumph for women everywhere. She called Baldwin's suit retaliatory, painting herself as a survivor hunted by modern-day witchfinders. The performance was flawless and utterly hollow. Here's the brutal reality the headlines ignored. Judge Lyman didn't rule Blake's allegations were true. He didn't declare Baldwin guilty. The dismissal hinged solely on privilege. Legalese meaning statements within a formal complaint are generally protected, even if potentially false. The court essentially said, "We're not calling her a liar right now. We're just not allowed to punish her for the complaint itself." Blake spun procedural armor into moral vindication. Her victory lap wasn't based on truth. It was built on a legal technicality. And the smell of something rotten was already creeping in. That suspicious odor? It led straight to the judge's bench. Louis J. Lyman isn't just a federal judge. He's the brother of Hollywood director Douglas Lyman. And Douglas Lyman? He directed Blake Lively in a 2008 political ad for Move On. Coincidence? In the insular world of Hollywood power, connections like this aren't accidental. It reeks of potential conflict of interest. Did Blake, facing a career-ending lawsuit, call in a favor with her old director pal? Did Douglas whisper in his brother's ear? The timing, a massive threat vanishing after a friendly judicial review, feels less like justice and more like a well-dressed cover-up. The internet's bribery theories suddenly didn't seem so wild. While Blake basked in her staged win, Ryan Reynolds was watching his empire implode. Disney CEO Bob Iger reportedly delivered an ultimatum: distance yourself from Blake's PR disaster or lose Deadpool. The fallout was instant and brutal. Deadpool and Wolverine promotions? Frozen. An $18 million Apple TV Plus project? Canceled mid-development. Amazon Prime Video axed a series 30 days from filming, citing reputation liability. Even Reynolds' own company, Maximum Effort, faced a sudden, intense financial audit. Hugh Jackman himself allegedly warned Marvel Reynolds was now a brand hazard. The king of snark was seconds from becoming Hollywood roadkill. Faced with annihilation, Ryan Reynolds made a cold, calculated choice: save himself. Subpoenaed under Rule 45, he walked into court not as Blake's protector, but as a witness with everything to lose and devastating information to share. This wasn't nobility. It was career CPR. Bob Iger's threat left him no other move. He needed Disney to put his face back on the popcorn buckets, and throwing Blake under the bus was the only ticket. His testimony wasn't about truth. It was about survival. The stage was set for Hollywood's messiest divorce, played out in federal court. Ryan's testimony was clinical, precise, and utterly damning. He revealed the marriage shattered in December 2023. The cause? He discovered a trove of late-night texts between Blake and Justin Baldwin. These weren't casual work notes. Blake allegedly messaged Baldwin, calling him emotionally attentive, confiding she felt understood by him in ways Ryan couldn't match. Imagine the fumble. Your wife emotionally outsourcing to her co-star. But the real dagger? These intimate texts happened weeks before Blake filed her formal complaint accusing Baldwin of misconduct. Her entire victim timeline? Obliterated in one sentence. Ryan didn't call her a liar. He proved her panic began with exposure, not harassment. If Ryan's testimony was a bomb, the next day brought the smoking gun. Baldwin's attorney, Brian Friedman, submitted authenticated internal emails, dated January 9, 2024. Just 4 days before Blake filed her complaint. Blake wrote to her PR guru, Stephanie Jones. The subject? Pure scheming. Blake, fearing Baldwin might leak their texts, commanded. Justin's being shady. If he leaks the texts, I'm done. I'll destroy him first. Let's own the narrative like Amber did with Depp. Invoking Amber Heard's playbook in writing? The courtroom erupted. The judge halted proceedings to verify the emails. They were real. Metadata perfect. This wasn't fear. It was premeditated character assassination. Blake wasn't reacting to trauma. She was launching a first strike. Blake Lively, clutching a designer folder like a life raft, completely shattered. Reporters captured her slamming it down, muttering, "He was supposed to protect me." Protect her? He was protecting his crumbling career from her fallout. Her lawyers desperately moved to strike Ryan's testimony, calling it biased and emotional. The irony was thick. The judge, likely smelling the same rot as everyone else, denied it instantly. Meanwhile, Stephanie Jones' PR agency imploded overnight. Court filings cited reputational liability and client flight as reasons. Blake's shield had vanished. The silence was louder than any premiere night applause. Blake Lively's phone, once buzzing with pitches from Vogue, urgent scripts from Netflix, and champagne-fueled voice notes from Taylor Swift, went dead. Not figuratively, literally. Industry insiders describe her contact list evaporating like water in the Mojave. One publicist, who'd orchestrated Blake's iconic Met Gala looks, admitted, "My assistant's finger hovered over block collar. We couldn't risk even a misdial linking us to that toxicity." Brand betrayal, when your own empire abandons you. Betty Buzz and Betty Booze weren't just brands. They were Blake's identity. The sparkling mixers symbolized effortless hosting. The alcohol line whispered cool mom sophistication. Overnight, her face vanished, not just from Instagram ads. Employees arrived at the Brooklyn HQ to find warehouse boxes plastered with return TO sender over Blake's grinning photo. A production manager leaked, "We reprinted 80,000 labels at 3 a.m. The new mock-ups? Just lemon slices." No trace of her. Sponsors like Peloton and Tiffany & Company, partners for years, invoked. Morality clauses buried in contracts. One legal memo bluntly stated, clients' alleged fraudulent conduct renders her unfit to embody brand values. The unspoken truth, nobody markets perfection with a woman facing fraud accusations. Agency exodus. The sound of doors slamming. CAA, her agency since Gossip Girl, didn't fire her. They ghosted. Emails about a $12 million rom-com offer? Unanswered. Calls about rescheduling a Vanity Fair cover? Voicemail purgatory. Her agent, famed for closing $20 million deals, allegedly told colleagues, she's untouchable. Even Hallmark won't cast her as a Christmas tree farmer's wife now. Smaller agencies followed suit. A boutique firm specializing in feminist branding quietly deleted Blake from their website portfolio. The message screamed through Hollywood's canyon, representing Blake Lively equals career suicide. The inner circle, ghosts in designer gowns. Taylor Swift's silence wasn't subtle. For 15 years, they traded squad goals headlines, cozy coffee runs, 4th of July parties, even matching initials necklaces. Post-courtroom? Radio silence. Swift's team nixed Blake from the Tortured Poets Department listening party list last minute. A source close to Taylor whispered, she can't be linked to someone who weaponized #MeToo. The parallels to other cases are too damning. Gigi Hadid didn't just unfollow Blake on Instagram. She scrubbed every trace, deleting 11 years of red carpet photos, birthday tributes, even a viral video of them dancing at Coachella. The digital erasure felt surgical. Cara Delevingne reportedly changed her number after Blake left 47 desperate voicemails. "It's like I have the plague," Blake allegedly sobbed to an empty penthouse. Even her longtime stylist, who crafted her iconic pregnancy reveals, posted cryptic Instagram stories. Real loyalty requires real integrity. Scissors, scissors, scissors. The work drought, when Hollywood turns off the tap. Forget leading roles. Blake's team couldn't land voiceover gigs for yogurt commercials. Projects in soft prep, like that Nancy Meyers Netflix film, Dissolve. A director admitted anonymously, insurers refused to bond her. They called her an incalculable reputational risk. Without bonding? No set, no movie. Even cameos got axed. Ryan Reynolds' new comedy, rewritten to exclude her planned 60-second bar scene. The chemistry's gone. The producer shrugged, though everyone knew the truth. Event exile. The Vanity Fair Oscar party snub. The ultimate humiliation? Vanity Fair's post-Oscars bash. For a decade, Blake dominated its steps, photographers shoving to capture her in custom Gucci. This year, her publicist begged for an invite. The alleged reply from VF's gatekeeper: "We're prioritizing talent who align with our current values." She watched the live stream alone, spotting Gigi laughing with Margot Robbie, Taylor draped in Oscar de la Renta. A source claims Blake shattered her TV screen with a thrown champagne flute. The Whisper Network's verdict: blacklisted, not cancelled. Cancellation is noisy. Blacklisting, silent and absolute. Studio heads added her name to internal do not cast databases. A digital scarlet letter. A Disney exec leaked: she's in the B folder. Not for Blake. For Baldwin-related liability. Fashion houses revoked ambassador status. Chanel ceased all fittings. An insider hissed: "We don't dress defendants in fraud suits unless they're playing one on TV." Even her philanthropic pet project, child literacy, suffered. Donors pulled funding, fearing guilt by association. The psychological toll: trapped in a gilded cage. Blake's Tribeca penthouse transformed from sanctuary to prison. Paparazzi camped outside, shouting questions about Ryan's testimony. She stopped attending school runs for her kids. "The other moms crossed the street like I'm Medusa," she allegedly cried to her nanny. Her only outings? Midnight drives upstate in tinted SUVs. Staff reported untouched plates of organic kale salads and spirulina smoothies. Her signature: wellness. Meals now just props in an empty life. The Last Stand, desperate plays and bargaining. Her team floated wild Hail Marys. A tell-all interview with Oprah? Winfrey's team: hard pass. Launching a women's legal defense charity. Donors recoiled. Too self-serving. Leaked candid photos of her reading to sick kids. Comments flooded with PR stunt. Even a rumored pilgrimage to a Utah wellness retreat backfired. Tabloids jeered. Blake seeks soul cleansing after courtroom soiling. The industry's unspoken rule: you chose this. Hollywood forgives affairs, diva tantrums, even box office bombs. What it can't stomach: systemic deception that threatens the machine. Blake didn't just lie. She exposed the industry's fragile reliance on "believe women" as both shield and sword. By invoking Amber Heard's playbook, then getting caught, she turned activism into ammunition. A veteran producer spat: "She made cynics of us all." Now, when a real victim speaks, people will whisper, "Is this another Blake job?" Today, Blake Lively's name isn't whispered in connection with films or fashion. It's a cautionary tale in contract negotiations, PR war rooms, and law schools. Never pull a Lively means never assuming privilege protects you from truth. Her $25 million home? Reportedly on the market. Her production company? Shuttered. The glittering empire built on charisma, curation, and calculated vulnerability now lies in ruins, not by a rival's hand, but by the weight of its own corrupted blueprint. The verdict beyond the courtroom: Blake didn't lose a lawsuit. She lost her cultural citizenship. Hollywood exiled her. Brands erased her. Friends disowned her. In the end, the poster child for toxic manipulation wasn't crucified by tabloids or judges. She was dismantled by the very system she'd mastered, proving that in today's world, your reputation isn't just what you project, it's what you prove when the spotlight burns hottest. Brian Friedman isn't done. He's circling like a legal shark, prepping his kill shot. First target? Judge Lyman. A formal motion alleging judicial bias is imminent, spotlighting the brotherly Hollywood connection. It's a potential corruption case brewing. Next, new witnesses. Friedman has actors lined up, women from different streaming sets, ready to testify Blake used similar discomfort tactics to control scenes and get male co-stars removed. A clear, damning pattern. Then comes the contempt motion for Blake's alleged courtroom fraud, and whispers of perjury or civil fraud charges grow louder. Friedman isn't just winning a case. He's dismantling an empire built on spin. Blake Lively meticulously crafted an image: the flawless star, the devoted wife, the feminist voice. She weaponized sympathy, leveraged connections, and tried to own the narrative. But when her own survivalist husband, backed into a corner by Disney, flipped the script with texts and a destroy him first email, the glittering facade vaporized. The judge's dismissal now stinks of potential nepotism. Her A-list friends vanished. Her brands abandoned her. Hollywood stamped her toxic. Ryan Reynolds? He saved Deadpool but torched his marriage. A desperate move revealing the brutal calculus of fame. Blake's empire wasn't conquered. It collapsed under the weight of its own deception. The real trial is just beginning, and the fallout promises to be more explosive than any Marvel movie. This story is evolving by the hour. What will Friedman expose next? Who else will flip? Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss the next bombshell drop. Let us know in the comments below. Did Ryan have any other choice? Or was this pure betrayal?